yeah. Oh shoot. Got one, see, failed OT. I mean, I'm not into all that. Like, shit's extra hard. Let's see how this goes. Oh, they're live. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm just sound checking everything. Give me a minute, please, and thank you. Awesome. Cool. All right, we're on track. All right, so to be honest, we're not going to start this thing for another 4 minutes. I'm actually going to start drawing up because I have not yet, but I do have an idea of what pairs we're going to be analyzing. We had a select few members suggest some pairs, and we're going to be doing those along with a couple that I have personally. And we're going to try to make some more money this week. Last week was really good. We made some good money, good returns. I think it was almost like 7 or 8% maybe. And this week we're trying to do the same thing. We're on good track as well. We're doing pretty well. So let's see. So we're gonna be doing. Let's see. Man, GJ, shut up. Oh, okay. Let's see. So what are we doing today? Oh wait, and I'm sorry. Let me get this stream to everybody. Hold on, guys. Hold on. How do I? Oh, you know what? Here, I got an idea. Give me a minute. Everyone get a drink. Everyone go to the bathroom. Get ready. It's about to go down. Hold on. Looks like we are going to copy link. We're going to put it out there for the peoples, man. For the peoples. And then one more, my friends. Just a quick story as I'm doing this. I was playing in an online tournament, poker. If anyone's a big poker fan, Texas Hold'em. I got a spot basically to take first place, and I'm gonna have another opportunity actually this Sunday. And if I win, I go to Vegas. They give me a trip to Vegas, and I get hotel stay and everything, and I get a seat in a qualifier, which I think the payout's like $100,000 or something for first. And then if you win that one, you get to go to the bigger one. So today I lost that tournament. I got really damn far. I barely lost. I mean, I had one of the best hands that you could really have. I had pocket queens, and some guy had like king jack or something, and he called me. I went all in after a couple rounds of betting, and flop was crap. I was still up winning, and I'm like, hold. And, I think the fourth card was a 4. I'm like, oh my God, like hold, like freaking hold. And then the last card was a king. So he beat me on the river. So that really sucked. I was pretty pissed, and I'm still pretty tilted right now, but I got to do this webinar, man, for the people. It's not just about, making poker money. It's actually more about making FOREX money, man. Okay, cool. So let's jump into this real quick. So I have the pairs that we're going to be doing. We may have some people roll in as the time goes by, but we're just going to go ahead and get started because there's multiple things we have to do. So let me jump back in this chat and get those pairs ready. So we have GJ, UJ, NZD, USD, and AUD, USD. Okay, so we have about 4. So we'll do those, and then I have a couple I want to talk about. Okay, so let's look at this. So a lot of times, for those who don't know my particular analysis, A lot of it starts on the larger time frame. If you consider the daily time frame a larger time frame, so as you can see, 1D, which is going to be day one, or 1 day. I'm sorry. That means that each candle is worth one, or is a total of 1 day worth of volume, right? So each candle equals a day on this chart. So what I like to do is I like to look for the long-term potential trade. I don't like to do so much short-term, but I do really enjoy what we call scalping when I find a nice trade. And I have a specific technique that not a lot of people know about. I only teach my students and the people in Elevated Trader Circle. But I do give you guys a lot of help on these videos regardless. So, okay, let's talk about this. This is actually going to be a really nice trade that we could execute probably today. So let's do this, okay? So let's run into this. This is going to be CAD JPY, so that's Canadian dollar versus the Japanese yen. Starting on the daily, as you can see, we've been in a nice uptrend this whole time. And there was very strong areas that we wanted to pay attention to. Now, I'm going to zoom in here. Actually, what we're going to do is we identify the trend on the daily, right? So we want to find the long-term trend first. Okay, which is the daily for me personally. I don't really use the weekly unless I really, really have to, and I very, very, very rarely ever use the monthly. Okay, so let's go down to the 4 hour, because the 4 hour is my favorite time frame for like medium to long-term analysis. It shows us a lot. Okay, so here's my hypothesis. Okay, so as you can see here, we identified a very strong area. Actually, let's zoom in and scroll up. So as you can see, this is what's considered a supply or demand zone or area of interest. It's all the same as long as you understand what it means. So to us, it means that there was a lot of reversals, strong reversals, long-term reversals happening in this area. So as you can see, what I did was I took this point and at the highest part of the wick, as you can see, I kind of left it open for you. As you can see, this wick here, and I dragged it all the way down in the candle body, and I dragged it across. And as you can see, it met up right here very nicely, all in the wicks, right on the candle body. Okay, and as you can see, that was a nice rejection back into this very strong zone, and then we broke to the upside. Okay, so now what do we do? What happened over here? It looks like I was doing an analysis where I said, we're going to pull back into this area at some point and then continue on the way up. So it never really happened until about now. Okay. So it looks like if we were to drag this over and keep it about the same thickness, but just extend the length, it looks like it's exactly where the zone was. So instead of it happening over here, it decided to happen over here. Shit. Let me get this. Okay. You see how that works out? Okay. So that market moved to the downside, obviously pulled right back in. So that's going to be our official retest. As you can see, had a lot of trouble, and it consolidated all the way until we reached this perfect daily trend line. Perfect execution. I'm talking about, I should have seen this earlier, because this would have been a perfect place to execute a buy. Okay, so as you can see, this market's shot up from that perfect area right there. Very strong push, and it moved about 75 pips. Now let's talk about the actual price action and structure of it. Okay, is this a potential buy? Can we still buy this market? Is it too late? No, not at all. So as right now, what I'm looking at, because we actually broke structure. Now let's talk about structure real quick. Okay, for all my beginners, stick around, listen. You know, I mean, just hearing this, even if you don't fully understand it, it's still very, very valuable, and some of it might click. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, so let's just do this here. Let's do regular basic support and resistance, right? So what do we consider a support or resistance zone? A support or resistance zone to me is going to be basically where we had at one point resistance, and at one point support, and at one point a very strong breakthrough. Okay, and as you can see, we had at one point here, it looks like we came down a couple times and resisted, It looks like we had a very strong breakthrough to the downside, and now now it was support, okay, or resistance. I'm sorry, and it was support over here, and now it's resistance, and now we broke over again. Okay, so this to me right here at this zone, I'm gonna draw right now, right there, would be probably my ideal support. Right, it's my support line. That is my ideal support line. So now what I'm looking at is, okay, we broke above and we cleared it, and it closed over with actual price, with actual candlestick, bullish candlestick. Now what what technically you should do is you should be patient and wait for it to actually pull back in here, which it probably will. But in all honesty, I'm not really a big fan of waiting because we're so close to it. Okay, so let's see how much we would risk if we say we entered right now. Here's price. Okay, here's where the price will likely pull back to. Okay, about 20 pips. Okay, now if you want to be entry king and you want to wait and you only take opportunities that are absolutely indefinitely perfect and you're cool, you have patience and you're gonna wait, that's fine with me. But for me, I would like to, instead of waiting and run the risk of missing this trade, because I think it's going to explode, and I think it's a very strong explosion, and it could just completely continue to go and not pull back. I think it'd be a good opportunity to enter now, and instead of using a 20 pip stop loss, I would double it, and I would use a 40, and I would just reduce the size of my my actual lot size to keep the risk at the same. So what I would do is I would probably use a 40 pip stop loss. So as you can see, my stop loss will be all the way down here. It would have to break structure and trend line to stop me out. Okay, which would be crazy. Okay, and if it does that, that's fine. And we can look for a new opportunity again down here to rebuy. But really, it shouldn't be breaking below here. And even if it breaks below here, we just let it chill. We just let it play out and see what happens, because it really shouldn't. It should follow market structure, and if it doesn't, then we really shouldn't be interested. Okay, so that's going to be my move on this here. Okay, so make sure to go ahead and plug that in. So if you want to buy now, I think it's a good time, and use a 40 pip stop loss. So your stop loss is going to be around, let's see, there, it's fine. Oh shoot. Right there. So about 89.83 should be your stop loss, and your target is going to be all the way up here where previous structure was, because right now we're kind of stopping right here because this is where structure was. You might see a little pause here because we had a very nice another resistance, but really what you can do is you can enter here. Okay, you can enter here, let it ride up, and it'll be 40 pips in profit. Okay, what you can do is you can take half your profit if you want, okay, and move your stop loss to break even, reduce risk, take some reward, and if it does pull back, then on the pullback you can enter again. It may pull back to this trend line again, right into this structure here. Here's some more structure here, right here. Did I not? Yeah, right there. So you see it's already on structure. So you can, wait, I'm sorry guys. What am I doing? My apologies. Right there, okay. So yeah, so you see why it's rejecting there. So you could, even if it comes up here, move your stop loss to break even, okay? Or put it in a little bit of profit, okay? Take half the profit and then let it pull back. And if it pulls back right to this area, to this previous support, you can go for another buy and you can double up on it. And then guess where your next area is? It's up here. Okay, so you have a long-term trade. It starts here and it goes all the way here for 120 pips. Okay, so you can really make a lot out of that. See, my key, well, I'm not going to tell you my key technique because it's extremely powerful. And if you're serious about trading, you want to get started, I need to make sure that you commit and you join my group, because I don't just give out information, because a lot of times in my past, people give out my information to other people that are not really at my acceptance standard. Like I don't like the people, or I just in general don't really enjoy them using my information or using my techniques for their own benefit. I'd rather you guys get it from the person that actually created it, or actually like stands by it. I'm not saying I created anything, because trading's been around for a very long time, but I just don't like to give information out for free. Maybe very basic information, but not my special techniques that me and the people that are very serious profit from. Okay, so if you guys obviously want to do that, you can always do that. Let me go ahead and plug in this. I'm going to plug in this trade for my members. Let me just plug it in real quick so they can get this trade and make sure they get some money in their pockets here. Let's see. So we're going to do CAD JPY. It's going to be a buy. We're buying right around now. About 923. Let's see. 90.230. Okay. Entry. You guys, there's a live chat. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask now, and I'll go check it out real quick. Let's see, entry. Okay, got the entry. Let's put the stop loss. Stop loss is gonna be 2%, and it's going to be at, what did I say? Be like somewhere. What was it? We'll do 89,800. So 89,800. Okay, and our take profit. That's why it's good for my students or my members to come on these webinars, because I explain how to actually fully execute. I can't fully explain in text how to take half profit and then when it pulls back, re-enter and move your stop loss to profit. I can't just explain all that in the text. It's too hard. So that's why I really like when they come on. But take profit, our overall take profit, which I believe is going to be up here at least. Okay, so it's going to be I always like to underdo it. So it's going to be 91,200. 91.200. Make sure you guys plug this in. Feel free to take this trade now, and I just took mine right now. Let's see. So bam. That's going to the squad. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on. Let's see, what's the next one? So we're going to do AUD USD for my buddy. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We're going to do GJ for my buddy Benjamin. And then we're going to do UJ for Saj. Okay. So let's start with GJ. All right. That's going to be my CAD JPY analysis. Hopefully y'all make money on that. All right. Let's move on. Okay. So we always start on the daily, right? Okay. Interesting. Okay. So check this out. So this was actually, as y'all can see, we actually got into this trade and we made a ton of profit on that. We called it the whole way. When I saw it broke right back in, I realized that this was going to be a continuation. So this market just continued all the way up, broke previous daily structure, like previous daily resistance. I mean, it was crazy. The craziness of this move was just insane. And as you know, GJ is extremely volatile. And guess where our entry was? Right where that circle is. That is insane. Okay. So we were all up in that. So, but the entire move completely, like if we were to hold the entire move, that's 1150 pips, 1,142.8 pips. That is crazy. That happened in a week. That was 1 week. It was hard to even like catch any of that. It was just intense. So luckily we got in very early. Okay, but now let's talk about the current situation of this market. Now, clearly the market is in a very bullish state. Okay, this is probably the fastest move I've seen in a very long time, but it looks like it happens quite often in GJ. As you can see from here to here, very strong, right? From here to here, very strong. Okay, we double bottomed here, as you can see. Okay, there's 1, 2, Okay, bam, bam, double bottom on the daily, and then head and shoulders pattern. Okay, we realized the weakness of the wicks here on the other shoulder. We saw the weakness. We entered, bam, broke structure, da 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 da, ba bing, shabing, ba bam. Okay, it's all in there. So it went up. So now we're faced with a very clear trend. Okay, now the entry is going to be the tricky part because GBP JPY is high roller real estate. So you have to make sure that your location is like literally the best location area ever. Okay, you have to make sure you get on that shit at the best possible area because it's so volatile. If you enter at the wrong time or in the wrong location, even if you're correct on the trend and you're correct on the move, the pullbacks and the waves that this pair makes alone will knock you out. It doesn't matter. You can have a 50, 60 pip stop loss. It'll still knock you out. So if you're not gonna wait for like a perfect location to enter or area to enter, you better be using a big stop loss and a small lot size because it's super volatile. Okay, so let's talk about this. So clearly, the first thing I'm gonna say is let's try to throw a trend line on here. Let's see what happens. I mean, this is clearly an upwards trend. There's no real reason to do this. Now we could potentially put it there just because these are wicks and that's not real price. So if we were just going off of candle body and actual price, that's where the trend line would go. And as you can see, it's pulling back right into there, right into this other trend line that was actually moving to the downside, and it pulled right back into there. So it's like hitting right there in the middle between this trend line going across and down versus this trend line going up and across. Okay, so now we can see that it's a clear uptrend. So now it's time to go down in the time frames and look at an area where we can potentially enter the market. So let's see. So first let's talk about this. So clearly this is going to be an upwards trend. So what's the first thing that we've decided already? We want to look for only buying opportunities. Okay. So in this case, even though we're running straight up into what we call a resistance area, which would be right around here, okay, we're still probably going to squeeze until we pop out. Okay, that's not for sure, and nothing is for sure in the markets, but you have to go with the highest probable decision. And the highest probable decision in this case is going to be a continuation of the previous long-term trend, which was what? Bullish, up to the sky. Okay. So what I'm waiting for is my entry is not going to be anywhere in here. I had an entry here earlier, right after this wick, and then I was in profit and I put my stop loss to break even, and then it came right back down again and stopped me out. I didn't lose anything, but I didn't gain anything. And really, I should have just kept it below this mark here because I still would have been in the trade and probably been in massive profit. But it's okay. There's still opportunity for me and us. Okay. So let's draw out a few things. Let's focus on the current area that we are given right at this moment. Okay. So this is clearly one support or one resistance area. Okay. Where's another one? Right there. Okay. Where's another one? Right there. Right. Okay. And then this is just kind of a funky high. I mean, I'm not really going to draw it out. But what we're going to do is we're going to focus between these levels and look for actual places to enter, right? And where to hold and how long to hold and where to put our stop loss and where to put our take profit. So what I'm thinking is not to get involved right now because this market could literally reject here for a little while, even for the rest of the week. But once we can break above this resistance at 149.310, which is this black line, once we can break above and close over with a solid candle, I'll be looking on a smaller time frame for the pullback so I can enter in the market and get some pips in between these areas. So here is some areas right now. Okay, so we have to, for one, we have to break above 149.310. Okay, the only reason you should be in this trade right now is if you bought the market down here and you're holding, okay, because you did break previous structure, so you have a defense, so you're good if you bought down here. But if you're up here, you do not buy up here. There's no reason to do that at all. It's a very bad idea. So what we're waiting for, me and you, is we're going to be waiting to break above previous structure because we want proof and we want confirmation that this market's going to continue up, okay, which most likely it will. So let's see. So what we're waiting for, like I said, is we're going to break above, and our target's going to be from here, from somewhere after this price, all the way up to somewhere around this price. So anywhere between 150.000 and 150.200. Okay, so I probably put my take profit at 150.000 and just take the 50 or 60 pips. That's way more than enough than we need. So if we can get that, that'd be great. So that's what I'm waiting for. This is clearly a bullish. Don't be selling this market at all, ever, right now, unless you get a very strong move that closes below this trend line. Okay, don't do it. Okay, so we're looking for a buy. So this is going to be our first zone here. So this is going to be what we call a profit zone. It's going to be our first profit zone. So anywhere between here and here we can trade, and then this is going to be our next one. Okay, which is a little bigger. Okay, so this one's going to come first. And how you would do this is basically, since we know the breakdown and since we understand the zones, where the zones are, we come down to a 1 hour time frame and we wait for that break and close over. Okay, and what I would wait for really to be very safe, if you want to be aggressive, you can enter once you close over, but I'm going to recommend that you be the calm, cool, collected trader who waits for the pullback. So what it's going to look like is this. Let's see. Am I still good? Okay, good. It was like, man, I've been explaining for a long time. I hope I've done that before. I've explained for 30 minutes and my mic wasn't even working. Okay, so what it's going to look like is this. So right off of this trend line, right, bam. Okay, so what we want to see is we want to see something like this where we break through. Okay, bam, like halfway or something. Okay, come back and pull back into the structure, into the support, and that's our entry right here, right on the pullback. Okay, if we can break above and get a nice little pullback, a little trickle back or a flag, that is where you enter. And guess what? Right after you enter that market, bam, you're coming up here, and that's where you take profit, right up here. Bam. Okay, secure 40, 50, 60 pips if you're feeling dangerous. Okay, it just depends. But I'd be happy with 40. I'd be happy with 50. Don't get greedy because GJ will quickly deceive you. Yeah, GJ will quickly turn on you. So make sure you secure. Okay, so whatever the zone is, I'd either cut it in half or at least fourths and take like 3/4 of the entire zone if my entry is superb. You know what I'm saying? Okay. What was the next one? Okay, so that's gonna be GJ. All right. Let's see. USD JPY. Oh shit. Let me check the chat. Hold on. Totally not used to this yet. Man, if y'all wouldn't mind, I would like to know if y'all like these. I do my best to break it down as easy and as understandable as possible, but not always is. They're not always amazing. If you could give an analysis on GBP USD for the remainder of the week, could you also talk about your thoughts on the USD news at 8:30 and 11 tomorrow? Andrew, I just read your comment, my brother. I'm not sure what you're talking about as far as the USD news. Like tomorrow, are you saying that there is news tomorrow? I have to look, but I mean, I'm not sure. Can you specify, like, is there news tomorrow that you want me to talk about? Or are you telling me the times? Are you asking me the times if I can come on and talk about it? I'm not too sure. GBP USD, yeah, I can look at it real quick, man. I got you. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep rolling. All right, so yeah, USD JPY looks nasty. All right, so okay, how do we do this? All right, so right now USD JPY, It's pretty funky. The only reason I say that and I immediately react to it is because looking at these wicks. I'm looking at these wicks, and this is usually a good sign, right? Where the wicks are, you see like a little curve. It's kind of like a big tall roller coaster, and like you kind of hit the mount, like the high of the roller coaster, and you're about to drop. And a lot of times you get those wicks, but normally you don't get rejection wicks right after coming from the other side. It's really weird. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if there's gonna be this is turning into consolidation. It's no longer like kind of looking like a rejection. It's more looking like it's turning into a consolidation. So what I want to see is, I mean, really, there's no. It's a really funky one. This one's weird. And most of the time, I'll be honest. When stuff is weird and stuff is funky, I just say no right away. I don't even try to decode it or figure it out. Like I like to I've been trading for so many years where I used to just take chances on things that I thought maybe would happen, or like I was kind of not sure of, but I kind of had an idea. Like now, and I've lost every time, literally. So now if I don't like something, if something kind of makes me cringe, or like I'm not like a big fan of it, or I don't know what to do with it, I don't even get involved. Like I want an obvious, clear confirmation, because those are the trades that I bank on. Okay. And in all reality, all I need is one pair. So one pair would do it for me. I can maximize major profit with just one pair. Going through multiple pairs and trying to trade multiple pairs is not my style. Okay. But yeah, man, they wanted me to do this one, but I'm not a big fan. I guess it'd be my job as a mentor to just say, I think we should just avoid it. I don't think that we should get really involved in this one. To be honest, I don't think it's a good idea. I think the best thing to do with this one is just let it play out. If we see a major move, like if we see a big candlestick, if we can break above or below like these wicks with some good candlestick action, that's cool. Now, what I would like to see is this market come up and like reach this triple top, because then I can look for a sign, like whether it be a engulfing candle or some nice rejection with a morning star or something like that, and I'm at a triple top, then shoot, we'll sell all day long. But right here in the middle of nowhere with like weird rejections and all kinds of funky stuff, not a big fan of it, to be honest. So I think what we'll do is not even try to decode it, because I think that would kind of make you guys think that it's okay to trade. I personally wouldn't even trade it. So I think we're just going to skip over it. Man, I'm really sorry. I think it was Saj who was on here or was asking about it. But I don't think it's a good idea, man. So we'll go on to another one. You had some other good recommendations. Let's see what you had. Let's see. You had NZD/USD and AUD/USD. Okay. Let's do this. NZD/USD. Okay, I already had some markups here. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. So what I see potential. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start on the daily, right? I'm going to start drawing out some key areas I see. So that's an actual zone. Okay, that's cool. So it matched up perfectly. So we're probably going to see our rejection here. But really, I think because we are clearly in a downtrend, and which I'll draw out right now. Shoot. Let's see. How far does it go down? Oh, I don't know. Let's put it there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's fine. All right, so yeah. So what I'm seeing that we're running into this area here. This is basic price action and structure. This market will probably pull up into here somewhere and then probably continue on its way down. Or it actually could pull back even further, but really it's kind of tight in here, making me feel kind of claustrophobic. So I don't really know how I feel about it. This market could actually like make a reversal here, because this is a strong area. You got to remember this is a daily zone, and it's rejected twice pretty hard from there, and it needed major it really needed major strength to break through them. So, I mean, we could see a rejection. We could see a reversal back to the upside, or we could see this thing trickle up. So now, here's the thing. If this thing trickles up slowly into this area, then that heightens your chances that the market is still moving to the downside. Now, it is a long-term downtrend. We have 2 points. We have 2 different moves. I mean, it's a clear downtrend. So I'm not a big fan of buying this market at all. We may look for an opportunity to buy this market if it does make it up to this area. If it does make it up to the area slowly, I would like to see it move very slow. I don't want to see it move fast up in here because that's a telltale sign that we could actually break structure and like start moving back to the upside. And I don't want to be involved in that if I'm not on that buy side. I want to be more on the sell side. So we'll have to see how that happens. This could actually just trickle up nice and slow, maybe take a long time, get up here finally probably by the end of the week or next week. And then, if it's nice and slow and we see reason to sell or confirmation to sell, we can sell, and then we'll probably get our push down to this previous structure here. So probably right there. So yeah, I mean, this that could potentially happen. There's actually 2 areas though. I just want to make sure you guys know. So there's our first take profit area right here at that black line, and then it's going to be our second one. Okay, so we have to see how that plays out, but that's something that we can't trade right now. I think that's something that we could potentially jump into probably next week though. And if not next week, probably most likely the week after that. Okay. All right, so last one, guys. AUD USD. Okay, AUD USD is a funky one right now. It's nice though. There's a lot of potential, and I see what could happen. And I was actually involved in AUD USD this week and made some profit, but it's getting to a funny point. Okay, now as you can see, I had a daily trend line. Okay, we broke through that trend line and we've been selling ever since. Okay, so we've been good. We've been Gucci. We've been doing everything properly. Okay, but now as you can see, we pulled back into the strongest support I've ever seen. This is a very long-term, very strong daily support, support, but it was resistance. As you can see, very strong markets come up and then reject very strong. Very strong markets come up, reject very strong. Very strong markets come up again to attempt again to break above and reject very, very strong. Okay, and it did it multiple times. You can see multiple different times it tried to break above, and finally it does. Okay, but most likely, just like everything else in Forex, you're looking for a retest. So we thought we had one here, which we kind of did. I did buy there. I knew it wasn't the final destination to the pullback, but I knew that we're on a trend line and that we probably still could get some juice out of it, which we did. Okay, once we broke below, we've been selling ever since, but now we're right back into the key support price. Okay, it can't get much stronger than this. And as you can see, it's actually starting to reject. Now, what could happen, guys? In my experience, this market could pull back, as you can see, for all my intermediate traders that understand price action or any of my students. You can pull right back into looking left. You can pull right back into structure, which is going to be around here, where it's at. And we may see a double bottom or something of that nature, or even a head and shoulders before this market continues to the upside. Okay, but I do think that we're on our way to making it to the upside. I do think that we're going to be going up. But we have to be patient and wait and let this market play. This is the best time to let this market play and do it at once and come back next week and check on it, see where it's at. Because this thing could pull up, reject, create a shoulder and do a head and shoulders, and we can execute an ABCD pattern. This market could come down, double bottom here, and that would be a good entry right there, even if we just took it, without even waiting. I think it would still be a good entry, and we could put a nice little 30 pip stop loss or something and see if it takes off. And if it doesn't, that's cool. That's fine, because we just wait for a new opportunity to buy. But yeah, so we're going to wait on that one. This is a nice one. This is a really good one. So hopefully you were selling this market. this week and most of last week, or pretty much all last week. But now it's time to wait and let this market play out. Don't get involved in this market right now, because I'm telling you right now, there's a few things that are going to happen. These markets don't just skyrocket. Okay, a lot of times they show signs. That's why there's such things as reversal patterns. So you have like the head and shoulders pattern, or you have the double bottom pattern. That when these types of things happen, that's why, because they're consistently happening in the market. And most of the time, the markets don't just shoot away from a resistance. They take their time, because most people get excited, and really they're not trying to have you understand these markets. So they want to tweak you out and make you think, oh, well, here's a perfect area, like da-da-da, let me do this and that. No. Wait for the confirmation. Take your time. Be patient. You'll be more successful. Your patience will pay you, I promise. The 3 Ps, right? That's cool, actually. Patience pays, promise. Okay, whatever. All right, so yeah. So that's it, guys. We're going to wait on that. I think the only trade we could really execute is this guy. And as you can see, it's still kind of just being a little funky. Looks like we pulled back a little, and then look at that. Check that out. Bam. Okay, so we'll probably kind of just consolidate here for a little while, which is good, but you'll probably see an explosion very, very soon. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm out. That's it for me. Let me know if you like this. Make sure to like the video. If you're kind of shy, you don't want to comment or whatever, or you don't like have an account, just like the video. Subscribe to our channel, because we do this twice a week. And I'm going to start throwing out videos out there like randomly, like really cool, important videos to trading, like secret stuff, not just basic, boring shit. All right. So I guess I'll see you all next week or Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. And that's it, guys. Much love. I'll talk to you all later.